Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on ASFX, American Scientific Resources Incorporated. I want to get this one updated again. I think I did it on Monday, but judging by the amount of requests and questions I've gotten on it throughout the week, it's clearly still a popular stock in terms of lots of people are either playing it or hold the stock. So I want to get this updated going into the weekend so everybody can have an idea of what to look for. If you watched the last video, you know that I hung out the majority of the time on the 60-minute. That's going to remain the case here, and just mainly because I think that's what gives us the best, or gives me the best kind of example on what to explain what I think is going on from a technical analysis standpoint. But I do want to start off on the daily chart, and this thing really irritates me. I don't know why that hasn't been fixed yet. So just do your best and ignore this fat finger trade. The key thing here is, let me get that out of there, is this moving average right here. And the thing to keep in mind is this is a moving average that is always moving. It's dynamic, hence the word moving. And as time goes by, this increases. So you can see that the last pullback here, the moving average was, let's see the value, and I'm looking just right here. So you can watch right over there with me if you want as I put the cursor over these candles. But on the last major pullback, it was at 0.016. Okay, and we held it. We didn't touch it, but we did hold it. Now we're approaching it again, and its value is now 0.0186. So all that's telling us is it's increasing and we're holding it. So you may be thinking, what am I talking about? Well, let's think about it. Right now we're making higher lows, and as long as we can hold this moving average, there's a chance. There's going to be a good chance that it's going to be able to hold up and make a move upwards. Because if you look at things right now, and I'll explain this resistance more on the 60-minute, but right now what we're getting is kind of a ascending triangle, and instead of having a trend line be the support level, right now it's shaping up where the 50-day is shaping up to be the trend line. So an ascending triangle looks like this. You have your resistance level, and then you usually have a trend line that goes like that to make it an ascending triangle. But you can use moving averages too, because all this trend line would be is a support level, and moving averages are also supports. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and one thing I have my eye on. Now, if this 50-day fails and you get closes below it, then the pattern's broken to the downside, and it's probably going to come down and test the 200-day simple moving average at least. But for the time being, this moving average is holding. It is increasing. So in a very slight fashion, what's going on right now is the price is kind of bouncing like this. So it's getting rejected at the same price, but it's slowly making higher highs, which is what you want to see. So let's just explain that resistance level now, and to do that, let's just go back to the 60-minute chart. And this is actually a great example of how charts can be so powerful. I'm sorry I'm just trying to make sure I know what I'm looking at. But if we look over here, we had a bunch of lows, and this area was right at 5 cents. We had a low 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a bunch of lows right here that kept bouncing off 5. Well, unfortunately, that level failed, where the price came down here. And you can't see that. Okay, let's try this again. Where the price came down here, and because that failed, it became resistance. Supports become resistance when they're broken. And then we had this gap up here, and surprise, surprise, look right where it got knocked down. So the power of charts. It came up here, and the bears held onto their ground and forced the price back down. But remember, when we looked at that 50-day on the daily, it is making higher highs. So real quick, just to hop back to the daily chart, we're increasing, and we have this resistance level here. So that is the one thing to keep in mind. We do have a little ascending triangle going on. It's just a matter of can we hold that 50-day simple moving average. Now from an hourly chart, what I would love to see happen is just to get back above both of these key moving averages. We have the 200 period and the 50 period. If you can poke your head up above those, I think it's got a good chance to come up here again and test the 5 cent area. Of course, with any sort of break above that, if it's breaking it on volume like that, that's not too confidence inspiring. But if something comes in like that, or better yet, something like that, except it's a green bar, that would be really good, and that would show big time strength in terms of trying to push up through those moving averages. So that's what we want to see in terms of breaking through resistances. So these are the two shorter term resistances that we're looking at. Right now the 200 is at 0.0288. The 50 is at 0.0315, and then obviously this is our kind of longer term resistance level in terms of more of an overall picture. Now remember, this is a 60-minute chart, so if you're just a flat out investor and you're holding this one for the next 2 years, you really don't care what I have to say because I'm only taking 60-minute increments. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But overall, just a quick summary. We do have an ascending triangle that's starting to shape up, but like I said, instead of having an actual trend line, we're just using the 50-day simple moving average. We have this 5 cent area that's making the top of the triangle. So once more, this is the 5 cent area right here. This is our 50 period simple moving average, and then here is the triangle right there, the ascending triangle. And as always, with any sort of move up, or if you do break out, you got to keep your eyes on volume. The more volume, the more confidence you can put into any sort of price movement. So that's one thing to remember. This video wasn't too groundbreaking, but I did want to update people, point out how we are maintaining this uptrending 50-day simple moving average. So we're getting into this ascending triangle pattern. So hopefully this holds, and that's key priority number one is whether or not this 50. Sorry about that pause. Had somebody at the door. But anyways, this wraps up the video. Anyways, if you have any questions, please shoot me a message, and I'll do my best to help you out. And as always, if you haven't already, please check out bullmarketnewsletter.net. If you go there and sign up for the email list, you will be sent a free ebook, which has been getting very good reviews. And with your subscription, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, everything from penny stocks up to big board. So there's a good variety. We've been making our members some good money with our chart setups and ideas. So it's one of those situations where you can learn and profit at the same time. But best part is there's no strings attached. We don't charge you anything, so it's all free. So it's worth at least giving a try. So one more time, this was ASFX. Everybody have a good weekend.